I have to say, this week's episode of Jujutsu Kaisen was the perfect blend of some of the most badass moments you could ever ask for. And honestly, some of the most, if not most, disturbing. I don't know, man. Just when I saw that head get peeled, that was mess. That was really mess, because it's not just like they did a couple of slices and like, oh yeah, that's a little weird. No, like we saw the face stretch and everything, and I was like, oh hell no, I don't know what I'm seeing, but I both love and hate it. Like, what in Dark Gathering am I looking at? But the overall escalation between Inverse fight, which was so cool, because I was just under the assumption that this short, muscular man was pretty much just indestructible. That was his power. But no, leave it to the JJK author to just do something cool. It's Inverse. So as they're going in with all their force, it basically inverts into nothing. It's pretty much nothingness. And the idea of balancing it out with, just Yuji like stopping his force mid-punch to then just the flick sound effect as then he brings it right back in was so good. And honestly, how do you not leave an episode, especially when Toji just randomly comes back and makes everyone call him daddy in the middle of a fight that you didn't expect to see him in? Like, it was fantastic and was absolutely 10 out of 10. Now, I do have a full live reaction to today's wonderful episode over on my Patreon. If you would like to see that, it's over there if you're interested. I mean, it just feels like I enjoy the show the more the arc presses on, and I can understand now why so many people were hyping this one up. It's so interesting, though, because even when Gojo gets sealed, I love how the author and this anime studio, they always find ways to continue to let Gojo remain relevant, whether that is characters saying, don't you do that, Gojo's around, he'll step on you, to then them calling out like, you think I'm an idiot? I know Gojo's sealed, that's why I'm out here. But what I'm talking about specifically is the child flashback. I saw some people today basically say that it looks like basically young Gojo is just Killua from Hunter x Hunter, and I can't say I disagree, especially because I'm pretty sure it's the same voice actor. The idea that you have these two basically just shaking fools down, feeling like they're on the top of the world. He doesn't even do anything. He's walking past the building that they're at, and they're literally shaking in their boots. He looks up at them, and I swear to God they needed their diapers changed. And if they aren't wearing diapers, they probably started after that glare. I love how Gojo can remain so powerful. Whether he's a child, whether he's currently sealed away, it doesn't matter. Gojo remains relevant, and I thank the author for that. Now, my personal favorite moment in this episode was the Inverse fight. I really liked what they did. Really cool moves. I think in general, if you look at the combat in this show, they don't let characters fight the same way. It's not just like, okay, everyone's a sorcerer or everyone uses this type of ability, so all the fights are just like, the only reason it looks different is because the character design. No. When you watch this man fight, at one point he's like hanging on to the chain link fence and he's like spinning around, kicking people. Yuji's jumping up and just compressing, and they start the fight with him literally like wrapping wire around him, throwing him off building. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous, right? And I love the fact that as it presses on, you're second guessing what's happening, but most importantly, what can they even do in order to survive, right? Because the idea of pretty much using Subaru's worst nightmare, the bunny rabbits from hell, just to cloud over him, you get a moment that in a lot of battle shonens, the characters stand around talking and they discuss their plan, and you think in your head, why doesn't the villain just pummel them because they're doing literally nothing? Here, in a very intelligent way, we suppress the villain. We suppress our opponent so that Yuji and Megumi can catch up and say, hey, I got a plan. I think he's inversing things, so basically the harder we punch, the weaker it is. But we can't just give him a forehead flick because there is a limitation to the highs and the lows. Very well written, and the idea of the build-up, because we go from launching a elephant that lands on him, Yuji throwing a car at him, to then building up to what looks to be like two very strong punches, only for him to then get stabbed in the stomach, and he got aura'd into absolute oblivion. It was such a well-produced fight. I love the slow-mo where we can really see what's about to happen, or the fast-paced movements of it all. It was absolutely hype as hell, man. I mean, the fight on the rooftop, though, was also nothing to bat an eye at. I mean, the idea of, at first, pretty much just starting off by throwing a giant drill bit of death into someone, it pierces the arm quite a bit and gouges him without much struggle. And then the idea of using the water, which was pretty cool, because it basically allows for him to kind of like skate around. Like, obviously they're not on a skating rink, but the idea that's pretty much how he was moving. He was like dancing across water, and when you try to attack his back, it kind of pads it out. But the idea of like building into this moment where he's trying to swallow something, and I'm like, what the hell is he about to do? Only for that face to look right back. It was pretty insane. It really was. I was thinking what was going to happen with this episode was both fights that we were working with were going to end on a cliffhanger of some sort, and they're going to lead us into next week. And then very quickly things started to change, and I was like, oh, rip our boy, he's getting absolutely annihilated. And I was like, oh, they're gonna do the same thing to Yuji and them, and then they're gonna have to regroup or something. And then nope, we actually did get a little bit of a W, even though we got quite a massive L all at the same time. And the escalation, the excitement I have watching this, it just feels like I'm always interested in the mechanics, why a character can do this when a character might not be able to do that. I love learning more, I love seeing more, and the character designs, the fighting choreography, the OST, goddamn was the OST fire in this episode. There's almost like this drum beat going on for like 5 minutes straight that just keeps you kind of like antsy about not knowing where it's gonna go. Just absolutely well produced, loved it, loved looking at it, loved listening to it. And honestly, absolutely exciting for a fight overall. I think the cool thing about where we're currently at with basically this big dome trying to break it free, obviously, so we can end this madness. At the same time, there's just so many uncertainty with character pairings. Like, we could walk into next week's episode and have Panda just be kicking ass or getting his ass kicked the entire episode for all we know. There's a lot of players at play here, and by sealing Gojo, as heartbreaking as it is, I mean, granted, he does seem to be kind of chilling there, just enjoying his vacation, all things considered. At the same time, by separating Gojo from this arc, you have a lot of uncertainty. You don't know which characters will be able to survive. I mean, look at Yuji. He slapped that naked grasshopper around, and I say naked because, you know, the grasshopper did kind of look like he had his dong hanging around, so I'm gonna phrase him as naked grasshopper. But the idea that you have something like that, that could be a pretty intense fight, but all things considered, Yuji pretty much looked at it as like not even, it's like Mario jumping on a Goomba for him. But then you enter this episode and you don't know a character who can get thrown off a building that high, have literally no damage on his body, what in the actual hell? And then we end it in a way that's like, okay, this is still not even close to the craziest things we're going to deal with. Because when we think about it, when we do have to fight Geto, which they will have to do because currently, unless something miraculous happens, our top boy's nowhere to be seen. They are increasing the intensity at the right pace. Yuji jumps in fighting some dumbass bug to then this invincible or seemingly invincible man. Maybe gotta fight Toji. I don't know where the hell we go after this. It just, the intensity and the way they increase it, it's not like we're just jumping from Grasshopper to Geto, right? Like they're climbing the staircase at the appropriate pace. And there's so many characters to work with. The production, I'm loving it. I think the art, the animation, there's a lot more expression I find in this season, just the way characters are bouncing around or they're kind of like warming up for a fight. Just so expressive, well written, and I can't gush about it more. Now, of course, those are my feelings. I'd love to know what everyone thought, whether you loved this fight in the manga, or maybe you thought it was just okay, like did this episode do anything for you to change your opinion? Or for Anime Originals, what did you think, and what was the most shocking moment for you? Let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell so you get notified when I upload more Jujutsu Kaisen to the channel. Like I mentioned, we have a full live reaction to today's wonderful episode over there, and hey, while you're there, you also get a video shout out. So today we have Brandon Cathell, Ike Eckley, Errol Paulton Flan, KZN, Jan Peterson, and Aiden O'Brien. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.